Hey guys, I just wanted to come to you within a few minutes and let you know about the home buying process. Because whenever people call us as realtors and be like, "Hey, I was looking at this property. Can you show it to me? Are you qualified? Have you talked to a lender yet? Got a pre-qualification letter?" Is what we're going to ask you. And especially in this market, if you have not talked to a lender yet, that house is not going to be there in the next 3 days. So it's very important that you talk to a lender if you are serious about purchasing and get qualified. Lender qualification right there. I want to be expressive with my eyebrows. Okay. So your banker, your mortgage lender, local mortgage lender, maybe somebody in your family, or your real estate agent can provide you several referrals to a mortgage lender in this area with great programs. So the next step, or sub A of the first one, is they're going to look at your debt to income ratio, your credit score. If you have any judgments or liens on your credit, those generally need to be taken care of first before you can get approved for a home. But you have to talk to the lender first. They're going to be the ones that can tell you if and when you can qualify. Down payments and closing costs. Closing cost. Okay, those are the things that they should talk to you about, the lender. So we generally say up to 4% of the purchase price of the house you need for closing costs. Not what the list price was, but what you purchase it for. So, oh, did I mention closing costs? Did I mention closing cost? Closing cost. Closing cost. Okay, in this market, there are multiple offers on houses, which means it's a less likely chance you are going to get an offer accepted if you ask for what we call concessions. If you ask the seller to pay a portion of your closing cost, it's highly unlikely that that offer is going to be accepted, because if they have 7 other offers and there's one that is the highest bidder and they're not asking for the seller to pay closing costs, they're going to pick that one. So let's say you have, for easy math, $100,000 house that you want. 3% of that is $3,000. So you're going to have that in cash to get the keys. Even if you're eligible for 100% financing, or if you're eligible for a down payment assistance program, you have to have cash to close on the house. Number 2, once you get pre-qualified and the lender says, yes, you can start looking at this much house, you can house hunt and then you can make an offer. But do not ask to see a house before you get pre-qualified, especially in this market. Most brokers will ask for a pre-qualification letter, because we're not going to show you a house that we don't know if you can afford, right? So what does that entail? Don't start looking at your top approval bracket. If you're approved for 250, don't start looking at houses at 245 and 250. Why? They said I could get that much. They go off of your gross income. Do you ever see your gross income? Do you get it? Everything that you make? No, you don't. You got to pay for taxes. You got to pay for insurance, and everybody else that has a hand in your check. I know it's not funny, but to laugh from crying sometimes. That you get your net, but they qualify you based on your gross. So if you're approved for 250, start looking at 210 area, because we don't want to be house poor. Okay, we want to still have a nice house and be able to go on vacation and be able to fix the house when something's wrong at the same time. Okay, do not give anybody anything, your social security number, out during this process. Okay, it's normally a 30 to 45 day process to purchase a home. It goes by pretty quick, but when you're in it, it feels like it's taken forever. The reason being, don't buy anything. Don't, unless your lender says that you have the cash to go purchase a refrigerator or some furniture or something that you want for the house. But do not finance anything. Don't go buy a new car. Don't give anybody your social security number, because just because you were approved at the beginning of the process, if you go and finance $1,500 worth of new furniture that can mess up your debt to income ratio. And that means 3 days before you close on this house, you might not be approved for it by then. So don't buy nothing, okay? Don't co-sign for nobody. You're a ghost until you get the keys to this house, okay? Did I mention closing costs? Did I mention closing costs? Oh, up to 4% of the purchase price. You have to have cash on hand to close. Again, even if you were approved for 100% financing of the loan or your VA loan, you have to have 3 to 4% of the purchase price to close to get the keys to that house, okay? Because again, in this market, a buyer's market's different. A buyer's market, you can ask for the seller to pay a portion of your closing costs. But in a seller's market like this, which we have not seen since the 80s, they ain't gonna be paying for your closing costs because they got multiple offers. And there's some people that are offering $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over asking price, and they're not asking the seller to pay for anything unnecessary, okay? Earnest and option within 3 days. Once your offer is accepted on a house, you have 3 business days to get your earnest money and your option to the title company. Earnest is 1% of the purchase price of the home. So if you are putting a contract on a $100,000 house, you need to get $1,000 plus the option, which is normally $100,000, so $1,100 to the title company within 3 days. Earnest is like a good faith down payment that shows that you're serious about moving forward and purchasing the house. And then the option period is where you have normally 10 days is what we write it, 10 days that you can get an inspection and look at the house. And if you want to cancel for any reason, if you don't want to buy that house, if you decide you don't like it, and especially in this market, you normally use it. You got to put a contract on these dadgum houses before they're gone. And if you decide you don't like it, then you can cancel it. Okay. Sadly, in this market, we don't have time. We don't have a week to think about stuff because the house is not going to be there. Okay. So you have 10 days to cancel for any reason. It doesn't matter what it is. And then you can get a refund of your earnest money. Okay. So earnest is normally 1% of the purchase price of your home, and the option is generally $50 to $100. Okay. So next is the inspection period. This you do in the option period. This means that you yourself pay a licensed inspector out of your pocket, which generally costs anywhere from $375 to $600. It just depends on who you use, how busy they are, stuff like that. This is an out-of-pocket expense. It does not count towards your closing cost. Earnest and option money count towards your closing costs. It's not in addition to. So of that 3%, the 1% earnest money and option will count towards your closing cost. But the inspector is going to tell you if there's something majorly wrong with that house, with the foundation, with the roof, if the electrical isn't up to standard, if there's leaks, different stuff like that. So it's not required, but it's highly advised to get an inspection. Okay. So, did I mention closing costs? You have to have some cash, especially in this market, to close on a house. Okay. Generally 3 to 4% of the purchase price, not the list price. If you offered over list price, it's going to be 3 to 4% of the purchase price of the house. Okay. You have to pay that at closing with a cashier's check, a certified bank check, something like that, not actual cash. Okay. Don't bring cash to the closing table. Okay. In that inspection period, if there are any repairs to be done, your realtor is going to negotiate those repairs. With FHA and VA, there are some things that are required to be repaired before you can close on the house. So your lender is approving you, but they're also approving the property too. Conventional is a little bit different. Sometimes you can negotiate the price lower without having to fix it, the seller having to fix it. But if it's something major, you want to try to get it fixed beforehand, right? Okay. Continuous lender approval. this time frame to close on a house normally takes 45 days. Did I tell you not to buy anything? Don't buy anything. Don't buy anything. Don't go finance anything. Keep your little grubby hands off your debit card. Stay off Amazon, whatever. Don't just go, oh, we don't have anything to do today. Let's drive by the Honda dealership. Don't do it, because your lender continuously approves your debt to income ratio, your credit, and they will re-pull it right before closing to make sure you're still approved to purchase this house. Because just because you got approved in the beginning, if you get all happy and excited and be like, I'm getting me a house, let's go get some new furniture, you might not have that approval status still. And so you get all the way down to the closing table and then the lender won't fund your loan. Okay. So don't give anybody your social security number. Oh, did I tell you not to buy anything? Yeah. Don't buy anything. Okay. It's not fun when you don't get approved. Okay. On either side. All right. And then at the closing table, you have to pay your down payment and closing cost. Did I say closing cost? Yeah. I said closing cost. Yeah. That's where you pay down payment and closing costs with a certified bank check, something to that effect. Okay, they won't take a personal check. Okay, and that's when you get the keys to your house. So, any questions, you can reach me at 903-241-8094. And especially in this market, please call because this market is crazy right now, and it doesn't matter how good of a realtor you have. There are 15 people vying for each property generally. So you have to have strategies outside of the box to be able to get an offer on one as well as cash too. So, and there's different ways, gift funds, all kinds of other stuff, but there's stipulations on that stuff. So please call or text if you have any questions. If I am up, I will answer. This is Natasha Harrell with Johnson Realty. Again, my phone number is 903-241-8094.